So I'm fearless. I've been trying to find the words to say to talk about a topic, but it's harder than I thought. Look at me, I'm struggling. It's time for a video. It's time for a video. It's time for a video where Sabrina talks about some stuff, or at least she tries. Now when I say I'm fearless, I don't mean that I don't feel fear or anything. It's just that I don't have any phobias and I don't ever get crippling senses of fear. Not really. Nothing I can't really talk myself out of. For instance, I'm not afraid of small bugs and insects and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm from Australia or if I'm just truly fearless deep down, but I just don't really care. I mean, I've had spiders in my room before who I just sort of let sit there because I don't really mind. And I've had bugs sort of on my floor who just sort of, you know, live there, and that's fine. I mean, after a while they gotta go, but if they stay away from me, I'll stay away from them. Like one time I was on my laptop with, you know, the brightness shining in my face, and it was nighttime. I should have been in bed, and while I'm just sitting on my laptop, this locust jumps out of nowhere at my laptop screen, clearly wanting the light, and I never realised that there was a locust in my room, and I didn't really panic. I was just like, no, swat, and then it went on the floor, and I think it hopped out of my room in the next couple days. I wonder what happened to it. But yeah, when it comes to being afraid of living things like animals and stuff, I always think to myself, they're probably more afraid of us in a lot of cases, and if they're not more afraid of us, then I should probably just leave them alone. There's no reason to sort of stand there terrified. I hate it in movies where people are scared and they just sort of stand there and they're just like, are you just gonna stand there and not do anything? You could potentially save your life by leaving, but instead you're gonna stay and just let your fear of death happen of your own accord. I hate it so much. And then there comes other fears, like being afraid of the dark, which is something else I've never really understood, and that's what gave me the idea for this video, because I was trying to write an article for a magazine called Elk that's going to be coming out, and I'll put links down below and a link here to the Facebook page, which is basically just nerd fighters of Australia writing magazine articles, and our topic is, are you afraid of the dark? And I didn't know what to write because I'm not afraid of the dark. I actually really love the dark. In fact, I can't sleep if there's light. If there is some kind of form of light, even my laptop little charger light, can't deal with that. I need to cover it up with like a couple socks or something, because if I can see some light, then I can see what is happening, and I do not like that. If I'm in pitch darkness, I am in pure bliss, because ignorance is bliss, and I am ignorant to any monsters or demons or anything like that that are surrounding me. So I don't feel fear. I guess essentially when I was thinking it through, I always think through my fears. But yeah, that's what I do, and I guess that's my tip to you guys if any of you have fears, because if you're afraid of something, you just need to think through it, because whatever you're afraid of probably isn't as bad as you think it is. That's the problem with fear. It just builds itself up. That's the problem with all negative emotions and negative thoughts, that they build onto each other and make themselves seem even bigger, but really they're not so bad when you just pin them down to the singular things. So yeah, my advice to people with fears is you should logic out of it, and that's what I always do, and I have multiple examples where logicking myself out of it has really helped. I think the only thing I really fear is oblivion. No, that was too soon. The thing that I fear a little bit is social interactions, because it's very difficult, because people are always different and everyone expects different things and reacts differently to different things, and I find it absolutely amazing because the human species, but it's also absolutely terrifying because the human species. So I work around it with logic, and the most terrifying thing, of course, is when I am walking home alone and there are people, because I think to myself, crap, I could get kidnapped or something else. You get what I mean? And this has actually happened to me on 2 times. Not the else thing or getting kidnapped. I've been followed home twice, which is ridiculous. And I guess the way that I don't fear getting followed home is because I think to myself, it's just an off chance. And I'm sure a lot of people sometimes get followed home and they still live to tell the tale and nothing bad happens. So, you know, it's fine. And then I sort of fear it a bit less and I'm not so scared walking home. One occasion where I have been followed home and I had to logic myself out of it sort of, was one time when I was walking home and it was raining, so I had an umbrella in one hand and I was very hungry, but I didn't have any of my parents home, so I went out to get Maccas. So I had my Maccas in the other hand and I was just sort of walking along, happy to get home to have my Maccas and be out of the rain because there was TV and Wi-Fi at home. Clearly I wanted to be at home. So as I was walking home with my little umbrella and my McDonald's bag, there was this guy who was walking in front of me and he was walking pretty slowly and he had his pants pulled down, not in a weird way, like, you know when guys wear their pants really low and you can see that they're wearing their damn Bonds underpants and you just think to yourself, stop, just pull them up. He was that kind of guy. And I was walking behind him and I wasn't really too concerned because he hadn't seen me and I felt like I was observing a wild animal that didn't know I was there. It's totally safe, they weren't going to attack me, no fear. And then all of a sudden he turns around and he had been on his phone at the time and he turns around and looks at me while on his phone and then just gets off his phone and then stands back and lets me walk past him. And I was like, this is creepy, because he didn't need to let me pass. I wasn't trying to overtake him or anything on a sidewalk. There was a lot of space. There was like a couple meters between us. And I was just like, you know what, just get home with your Maccas, that's good, it's fine. So I kept walking, I walked past him and I was like, whatever. And me personally, I am a very sneaky spy and I like to use reflections and whatnot to see when people are around, and I also like to use shadows because I can see people's shadows when they're following me and whatnot. So as I'm walking with my umbrella and my Maccas, I look and I see that his shadow is following me and I'm sort of like, oh god, he's come up right behind me while I'm walking home. Just because he's seen that I'm there, like why the hell, why would you do that? And I look in my peripheral vision on the side and I can see through the windows, the reflection of the windows, that he is like a meter away from me behind and he is staring at me and I'm like, that's not nice. You stopped, you should stay stopped. And it was at that moment when I just was like, you know what, I could either be super terrified and I could run, or I could like freeze up or something like that, or I could do the logical thing. And that's think of a way to defend myself. So I looked at my bag of Maccas, which contained a large double cheeseburger meal with McBites, and I was like, you know what, this isn't really gonna help me because it's a bit too fragile. I guess I could throw the bag at him, but since I've been walking in the rain for a little while, it's not gonna be that hot, it's not gonna scald him, there's no point. However, my umbrella is fairly sturdy, it's gotten through some tough winds, so I could probably whack him with the umbrella. I'm not too far away from home, I could probably run, but both of these things would involve me hurting him, and I'm not a fan for hurting people, so I thought of the next logical thing, and that was to cross a road. Which sounds really stupid, but it actually worked because I was able to just cross the road without a car hitting me and get to the other side of the road, but he couldn't follow me because he would have been hit by the car and he had to stay on the other side of the road. And so I got to my other side of the road, you know, I'd made it just in time, and I look and he's just sort of standing there just watching me, and he's fully able to walk across, but he knows that I am aware that he is there now, and I'm just slowly walking back home and he's staring at me and I'm just like looking back and forth because I'm a little bit scared, but either way I survived, sort of, I guess. I don't know, but either way I sort of got over the fear because I could have gone all crazy, but I didn't, right? What I did wasn't crazy, right? But yeah, nothing happened, and I guess that's just proof that some of the things you're afraid of are just chance happenings, you know, and bad stuff that happens, sometimes it never repeats itself. Sometimes you just gotta get over it. Sometimes you just make things up in your head that are really stupid, that you think are gonna happen again, but then they don't. Okay, you shouldn't be afraid. The moral of this entire video is that people should be less afraid because fear just stops you from doing all the amazing things in life. I'm never gonna go bungee jumping though. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you liked it, and I hope you liked my new intro-y thingy that I made. I don't actually have a proper microphone, but at the moment I'm saving up to buy one so I can properly record it and make it sound, you know, really professional and stuff, because yay for being professional. So that's it, you know, leave a comment in the box down below if there's anything that you're afraid of, that you think my advice doesn't help you with, because I would love to try and help you with your fear. And if you don't want to make your fears public, you can always just message me on one of my social media sites, because I will help you with everything and anything I can, because that's what I love to do. Be fearless, be brave, and have a nice week until I see you next. Bye!